A few days later, and both Nate and Marissa received a court date in the mail for the protection order, Stella was sent the same information as well. The court date was set for 9 days later. Nate was surprised when he didn't hear from Stella once in those 9 days. The day of court, he picked Marissa up and they went together. They pulled into the parking lot just as Stella was getting out of her vehicle, with Jack in the passenger seat, of course. Nate parked farther down in the lot and waited for them to enter the building. He and Marissa entered the building a few minutes later, and less than 5 minutes later, all four were being called into the courtroom for their hearing.
All right, we are here today because Marissa and Nate have filed for a protection order for themselves and their 2 daughters against Stella. I have seen the evidence submitted by the plaintiffs, but can you both describe to me exactly what happened? The first instance actually happened when I still believed everything that Stella was saying to me. She told me that she had overheard my daughters saying their mother was taking them to the mall that day, and so we showed up. Little did I know, her boyfriend was also dating Marissa and keeping tabs on her whereabouts, reporting everything to Stella. That's how she knew where my ex-wife and daughters were.
The next instance occurred when I was out to lunch with my daughters in Stanport, 2 towns over. 20 minutes after we sat down, and I texted my boyfriend at the time, Stella showed up at the restaurant and caused a huge scene, upsetting both my girls.
That is absolutely not true, you lying bitch. I told you that I was already in town that day to do a little shopping. I stopped at that restaurant because it's the girls' favorite, and I was missing them because you took them away from me and their father. I never talked to Jack that day.
Okay, we are not going to use any of that language in my courtroom, and we are not going to name call either. You speak to everyone in this room with respect, or you remain quiet. According to the texts I have seen submitted into evidence by the plaintiffs, you did talk to Jack that day.
The judge handed the copies of the texts from that day to the bailiff, who in turn gave the copies to Stella to read. As soon as she saw the conversation, her cocky expression turned to one of humiliation. Within seconds, she bounced back and the cocky expression resumed.
I don't know where these screenshots came from, but this doesn't look like my messaging center. These messages could be between Jack and anybody. He dated Marissa for months. Maybe they've conspired against me.
What? Jack came with you today?